Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're looking at a live picture from Washington, and there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon. It would appear that there has been another major explosion, this one in the nation's capital. You are looking at a scene of apparent blast aftermath. There is smoke in the air over the Pentagon. We don't know whether this is the result of a bomb or whether it is yet another aircraft that has targeted a symbol of the United States power, but there is smoke pouring out of the Pentagon. This is coming at 9:43 Eastern Time. The president right now is on his way back from Florida. He had gone there for an educational event. In a brief remarks, he said this was an apparent terrorist attack on our country. We do have a couple of reports, one from AP, one from Reuters, reporting that an American Airlines plane was hijacked, that a United Airlines plane was hijacked, supposedly one of those two planes hijacked out of Boston. At this point, the Pentagon, the White House, the Capitol, and the Treasury have been evacuated in Washington. In New York, all airports, tunnels, and bridges have been closed, and in Chicago, the Sears Tower has been evacuated. We understand now there has been a secondary explosion on Tower 2. With that, we will leave you and turn it over to Dan Rather.
Giant jumbo jet crash very intentionally.
I know everything's going to be so kind of.
The Pentagon was.
I think I'm just going to put this over.
So right at 9 o'clock when people are at work.
It's quiet.
Yeah, it was like the first one was at like 10 to 9.
Yeah, the funny was
Yeah,
I
I walked by, I was walking by. They both hit. And something's coming out. Something's coming
See
out.
that? Oh my God, the whole building is Yep. Yeah, on top of it.
I don't know.
God! Oh my God, look at that explosion.
All eyes look towards the sky. It was the most surreal scene I have ever seen. I cannot describe what took place. The building literally just like as if it was in slow motion.
Look at all that explosion going up the whole downtown.
Manhattan, sending up a humongous cloud filled with debris.
Is that going to come this way?
Started running from lower Manhattan.
Good.
Take two. Take two and 2, 1. This is as close as we can get to the base of the World Trade Center. You can see the firemen assembled here, the police officers, FBI agents, and you can see the two towers. A huge explosion now, raining debris on all of us. We better get out of the way!
Black smoke billowing from the scene. There's a lot of confusion. The Defense Protective Service, which is the police force here in the Pentagon, has been urging people to get out of the building and move away from the scene so they can handle the emergency situation. Again, it appears that an aircraft of some sort did hit the side of the Pentagon, the west front, which faces sort of toward Arlington and Shanksville. So according to a lot of Army officers who were there, and so I think it's just a huge explosion that you're seeing, a billowing smoke rising. And I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud. This explosion is huge.
Oh my God, something else blew up.
This is the second of the two towers hit. And I cannot see behind that smoke, obviously, as you can either. The first tower in front has not changed. And we see this extraordinarily and frightening scene behind us.
Oh my God.
The second tower. Now just in case you...
Get my back, get my back, get my back, get my back. Duck it. Anthony, you okay?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Watch out. I got it.
Building completely down.
Trade Center.
Was that 2 or 1? Oh, both.
You got
Anthony, watch me.
I thought it was the third plane, though.
No, the whole top came off. The whole top came off.
And then the smoke, all of a sudden I seen the smoke follow. I was like,
I was standing next to the lieutenant, and I couldn't. All of a sudden, I couldn't see him. We were under the truck. The top came off.
It's American Death Israel.
And the fire door on 76 was locked.
Anthony, let's get the fuck out of here.
I'm ready, man.
Jason, this is yours.
Look at this shit, man. Can you believe this shit?
No.
You got a cell phone.
Oh, God.
Anybody need some water?
I expect an 8x10 glossy. I know. Where are we even going?
We got to get you to the medical station so you can get your eyes cleaned out and I can go back.
Where's the medical station?
100 feet ahead. Everybody goes straight. This ambulance is about 100 feet ahead.
Watch the building to the left, to the back of those two buildings. This is just a few minutes ago. We don't know if something happened, another explosion, or if the building was so weakened it just collapsed. But we have one of our producers on the phone, and I didn't get the name, so why don't we just go ahead? You there?
Yeah, this is Rose Arcee calling from New York.
Rove, tell me what you know.
Just a few minutes ago, we saw there's a portion of the building where the first plane struck that seemed to be buckling inside itself, almost as if the top of the building was going to fall. Shortly after that, two people, it's hard to tell whether they were being pushed or they physically approached themselves the sort of river side of the building, it would be the west side of the building, and appeared to jump from the top floors, just under where you're seeing the smoke and fire.
That is extraordinary. The South Tower, the World Trade Center, has collapsed. Again, tell me, how long ago was it that you saw this?
This must have been about 5 minutes ago, and prior to that, you could see heads popping out of windows right beneath where that big gaping hole is. So there appeared to be people alive right below where the crash point was, and were trying to find some way out of there. And just as the thing started to buckle, you saw them plummeting from that top floor.
Right, and perhaps this is stating the obvious. We apologize for that, but obviously people were already at work here at the Trade Center when this happened.
"10:03 a.m. Flight 93 crashes at 583 miles per hour due to fighting in the cockpit, 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. Later reports indicate that passengers had learned about the World Trade Center and Pentagon crashes on cell phones, and at least 3 were planning on resisting the hijackers. The resistance was confirmed by Flight 93's cockpit voice recording, on which the hijackers are heard making their decision to down the plane before the passengers succeed in breaching the cockpit door. The intended target of Flight 93 is thought to be either the U.S. Capitol building or the White House in Washington, D.C. The crash of Flight 93 also signified the end of the attacks, as all of the hijackers were now dead, and all of the hijacked planes were destroyed.
Incomprehensible mayhem. A lot of people were breaking down and crying. The fire continues to burn. I can see the flames through the thick smoke.
Yeah.
Now people are gathering in large groups. In fact, in one corner, I saw a group of people actually holding hands and praying. As I stand on the Manhattan Bridge, which is closed, it is open to pedestrian traffic. Some people are working across, but there's just no way for them to. As I look down at something, I can't. It looks like that the building is going. Is that the building going down? Is that the second building of the World Trade Center going down?
Yes, that is the second. That is the second tower. That is the second tower.
It's a huge flow of smoke that came out of the middle of the building, and then the building just disappeared into the smoke.
That is the second building that has gone down. It came out like a plume of smoke, like a banana unpeeling, plumes of smoke coming out, and then absolutely nothing. And now where there were two huge buildings, two huge towers, there is now nothing.
It was pandemonium.
Absolutely unbelievable morning.
People began screaming. The building began crumbling, and what we saw on the street was nothing short of what you would see in a nuclear winter.
Clearly, we're in the middle of the worst ever act of terrorism directed at the United States on domestic soil. The Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine is claiming responsibility for today's bombings.
What?
However, Fox News cautions that the Israeli government sources believe Osama bin Laden is in fact responsible.
The North Tower. Oh my God, there it goes! Get in, here comes the cloud. The cloud is coming. Keep going, go! Get inside! It's gonna jump right over this building. It's gonna jump over the building. Here it comes! It's gonna jump right over this building. Shut this door! Get in here, Marty!
Estamos en el sótano de un edificio, no sabemos en cuál.
Yeah. Get us out of here. Come on, guys. Let's get out. Get out. Let's see what opens up here. Get out.
Bye.
Oh, shit. Roll, Jason, roll.
We gotta get ahead of that cloud of smoke.
Vámonos! 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 Get out! Some shooting. Double time! They broke it down this time! They broke it down! They broke it down, literally! Oh my God!
force of the heat crumbling the building? Was that a bomb?
Center, we heard a big bang, and then we saw smoke coming out, and everybody started running out, and we saw the plane on the other side of the building, and there was smoke everywhere, and people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know. And I don't know, everybody just doesn't know where to go. They won't let, everything is blocked off. You can't even, they're telling us to get out, but there's nowhere to go. And then I heard that another plane hit, and if you go over by there, you can see the people jumping out the window. They're jumping out the window right now. Oh my God.
All right, ma'am, thank you.
That is one of the witnesses to these extraordinary events this morning here in New York. Again, and I know that for many of you, you've heard this a lot, but I think it's important as people join us as they do in moments like this. They are coming in all the time, that there have been attacks in 2 American cities, New York and in Washington. The trade centers here in New York have been hit by airplanes. In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there's, you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. Good Lord. There are no words. You can see large pieces of the building falling. You can see the smoke rising. You can see a portion of the side of the building now just being covered on the right side as I look at it, covered in smoke. This is just a horrific scene and a horrific moment. The president, who is in Florida today, is en route back to the White House. He took off a short time ago. The White House itself has been evacuated on the basis of what the Secret Service says was a credible threat on the mansion itself. We believe now that we can say that portions of both towers of the World Trade Center have collapsed. Whether there were second explosions, that is to say explosions other than the planes hitting them, that caused this to happen, we cannot tell you. Rose Arce, one of our CNN producers, is on the phone. Rose, what do you got?
I'm about a block away, and there were several people that were hanging out the windows right below where the plane crashed, when suddenly you saw the top of the building start to shake, and people began leaping from the windows in the north side of the building. You saw 2 people at first plummet, and then a third one, and then the entire top of the building just blew up, and splinters of debris are falling on the street. Where I'm right now, there's a thick plume of smoke, and you can see crowds of people, including emergency service workers and police officers, running from the scene, screaming, and there's a school nearby where there were kids in the schoolyard. That has been emptied out, and they're running up the street now, too. The whole, sort of the neighborhood, I'd say several blocks up, is covered by this almost powdery smoke, little tiny pieces of building you can see just floating in the wind around it. It's almost as if like a huge cloud had kind of enveloped that part of lower Manhattan.
It is just one of those awful moments that you need to look at for a minute or two to absorb exactly what has happened. One of the witnesses to these extraordinary events this morning here in New York. Again, and I know that for many of you, you've heard this a lot, but I think it's important as people join us as they do in moments like this. They are coming in all the time, that there have been attacks in 2 American cities, New York and in Washington. The trade centers here in New York have been hit by airplanes. In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated.
see the smoke rising. You can see a portion of the side of the building now just being covered on the right side as I look at it, covered in smoke. This is just a horrific scene and a horrific moment. The president, who was in Florida today, as they moved back to the White House and took off a short time ago. The White House itself has been evacuated on the basis of what the Secret Service says was a credible threat on the mansion itself.
They got past the defenses of the Pentagon. What kind of technology they have to do that? Either they got the same technology or better.